College is life-changing. For this teen, however, it wasn't just about entering a new phase. Applying to college changed the course of his life in a way he couldn't have imagined. There was an issue with JJ's social security number. It didn't match his name. Schools kept flagging his application because of it. Applying to college is hard enough when things like this don't go awry. JJ needed to get to the bottom of it. Hello, wonderful people. I'm Scott Leffler for WonderBot. And here is teen applying to college finds out the bizarre truth about his childhood. Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos. JJ Mangina lived a regular life. He lived with his father, Jonathan, in this house in Cleveland. But their life wasn't as simple as it seemed. Soon, JJ would find out that his life was anything but normal, and the family he knew was a lie. Jonathan was a single father. He'd been raising JJ all by himself since the age of 5. He had big dreams for his son. He was always talking about his son. All he wanted him to do was to be able to go to college, said a neighbor. JJ's mother wasn't in the picture. Jonathan said she'd left when JJ was 5. Though JJ was born in Alabama, the two moved to Cleveland when JJ was young. Jonathan wanted a fresh start and soon found a good job in the area. JJ grew up to be a great student. By the time he was a senior in high school, he was an honor student. He almost aced his ACTs. It looked like his father's dream of him going to college would soon be realized. JJ's dream aligned with his father's. JJ also wanted to go to college. He planned to go to Ohio State University when he graduated. Given his ACT scores, he was a great candidate. But when he tried to apply, his school's counselors found a wrench in his plans that they'd never seen before. JJ applied to colleges, but there was a problem. It wasn't that he was getting rejected, something else was going on. There's a lot of personal information that he had to submit with his application, like any other student, including his name and ID. But these documents weren't matching up. There was an issue with JJ's social security number. It didn't match his name. Schools kept flagging JJ's application because of it. Applying to college is hard enough when things like this don't go awry. JJ needed to get to the bottom of it. JJ approached his high school counselor. The counselor tried to get to the bottom of it. She eventually found what was happening, but it wasn't what anyone expected, and it soon changed the way JJ thought about his father. JJ was listed as a missing child. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children had him on their list. He'd been missing for years and he had no idea. Surely a missing child would know they'd been kidnapped, right? The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children had a photo of JJ as a child. Not only that, they had a photo that had been age progressed. They'd distribute it in an effort to find JJ. He'd been missing since he was 5, and he was now 18 years old. There were about to be a lot of discoveries. JJ's name wasn't even JJ. It was Julian. And his last name wasn't Mangina, it was Hernandez. Sadly, this discovery wouldn't be the end of the story. There was a lot more that JJ was about to learn about his father. His father also wasn't who he thought he was. His name wasn't Jonathan Mangina, it was Bobby Hernandez. What was going on? Julian's mother hadn't left. In fact, she still lived in Alabama where Julian was born. It wasn't Julia's mother who had taken off, it was Julia's father. When the father and son moved to Cleveland when JJ was 5, he was kidnapping his son after losing a custody battle. When Julian was 5, his father had agreed to take him to preschool. He packed up Julian's baby blanket and a stuffed orca. He then went to the bank, drained all his accounts, and took off with Julian. Because Julian was with his father, he didn't realize at 5 years old that the act was malicious. Julian had been kidnapped by his own father. Because he and Julian's mother were in a custody dispute, Bobby decided to take his son and disappear so he wouldn't have to face the court. He'd taken Julian and vanished. Julian had no idea. When Julian was taken, his mother was desperate to find him. She'd gone into Birmingham and put flyers everywhere. She was devastated. "I was desperately trying to find my baby," she wrote. "I left his bedroom untouched for years, hoping he would come home." Julian's mother was deeply affected by the kidnapping. She left his bedroom untouched for years. She couldn't stop thinking about him. "I didn't know if he had a home or if he was taken care of," she wrote. She was deeply affected by Bobby's actions, and her hurt carried on for years. Julian's kidnapping changed how his mother lived her life. She had another son and wouldn't let him play outside by himself. She locks her doors even in the middle of the day. She was afraid of Julian's father. Bobby Hernandez was arrested. He was charged with kidnapping, but it didn't end there. Because of his use of a false identity, he was also charged with forgery as well. He was also charged with tampering with evidence and interference with custody. In court, Julian pled on his father's behalf. "He loved me and protected me more than anybody else could during my life," he said. "I don't know what else to say other than, do not send my father to jail. Even if other people can't, I forgive him for what he's done. I love him and I want him to be part of my life." Julian said his father was responsible for making him the person he is today. He pushed him to excel at school. He said his father was the reason he got into college. He asked the judge not to send his father to prison. "Taking my father away from me now just increases the pain," he said. Julian's mother, however, had some harsh words. In a statement read by her attorney, she described the day that Julian went missing as the worst day of her life. "During my darkest moments, I considered suicide," she wrote. Bobby tried to explain why he took Julian. "Julian was the most important person in my life," he said. "I accept full responsibility for everything I did." He broke down crying as he tried to explain. Bobby Hernandez was found guilty. The judge sentenced Hernandez to 4 years in prison. This is only 1 year above the minimum sentence, so it's fairly lenient. Ultimately, the judge sided with Julian. She said that she found his testimony the most persuasive when considering her sentence. Bobby Hernandez is seeking to get released from prison. He's only served 1 year of his 4-year sentence. His attorney is seeking he be freed with some type of court supervision. The prosecutor's office is going to oppose his early release. At the end, we want to know your opinion about the story in the comments box below.